Welcome to the Art of Mortgage Marketing podcast, where you'll learn the secret sauce, what it really takes to build a thriving mortgage business doing what you love without relying on cold calling or annoying realtors. And now, let's join your host, Doran Aldana.
Hey, welcome everyone to our Art of Mortgage Marketing podcast, coming at you live on Facebook right now. And this is Doran Aldana, the mortgage marketing coach, coming at you with another breakthrough interview. And today is going to be a real treat, especially for those of you who are going through a valley, a slump, a challenging point in your business right now, where perhaps you're feeling like you're, trying to move forward, but you've got concrete blocks on your feet. Maybe you're feeling like you're slugging through the mud. You've got wind in your face and it's tough slugging. And if that is indeed the case for you, you've come to the right place today, because I've got a interview with not just an average loan officer, but someone who has gone through the trials and tribulations, who's been in the game a long time, has gone through the valleys, gone through the trials and tribulations, and has gone through the other side. And so we're going to have a conversation today with the one, the only Mark Gagliardi. Sorry for butchering your name, Mark. Mark Gagliardi. And he is going to share his story in terms of where he came from, the slump he was in, and how he got out of it, and how he literally tripled his income in 3 months. 3 months, tripled his income, got out of a long-standing slump, and is now on fire. So I'm super stoked to have this conversation with you, Mark, and thanks so much for being with us today.
I appreciate it.
And for the benefit of everyone who's listening, give it to us the right way, my man. How do you say your name?
Mark Gagliardi.
See, I did say it right. I just didn't have a nice, smooth finish like you did. So I'm working on it. I got to practice. I got to practice a few times for those. And that's an Italian name, or what is that?
It's Italian, and the Italians would pronounce it Gagliardi, but it's Gagliardi.
Right? They've got a little bit more of an Italian roll with the tongue.
New Jersey, Gagliardi, hooked on fire.
Gagliardi, exactly. Don't gag on the Gagliardi. This is the real deal. You won't have to worry about that, especially on this interview. So guys, let's start off by learning a little bit about the story behind the story. So Mark, why don't we kick things off with just giving a little backstory as to how long you've been in the business, kind of the peaks and valleys that happened prior to getting with us and getting in our program.
Got it. Yep. My name is Mark Gagliardi. I've been an originator for at least 25 years. Was a solid year in, year out, consistent performer, made, decent money, and, really loved the industry. And I think that, on a daily basis, I took action. I did what I was supposed to do. And, the industry keeps changing and changing and changing. And I'm certain that everybody has gone through getting knocked around a little bit with all the changes. And I think that for me, I started kind of sliding down a slope of production. And initially you think it's the market, or initially you think it's the rates or the products or TRID or whatever hurdle we think. And so I know that when my production started tailing off, and let's say that's probably 3 or 4 years ago, it was a slow but consistent burn off from, being able to do 10 or 12 loans a month to doing, 3 or 4 to doing 1 or 2 to saying, holy shit, should I even be doing this for a living? And there was a period of time where I really, in my mind, I would blame the lender that I was connected with or employed by, or the product line or the service or whatever. I had reasons or excuses that kind of allowed me to convince myself that it was okay to just slide down that hill, until one day I woke up in the valley and said, what? Gotta do something. And so in that period of time, what I realized, after getting into coaching, it was easy to look back and go, oh shit, a lot of this was just me with, self-doubt, with lack of confidence, and self-talk that was negative. And the more I talked to myself, with negative consequences, the more the result was negative. And so I found myself, kind of spiraling downward, landing at a point where I really didn't even want to do this. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't like doing mortgages. I didn't like the industry. And all of it was really simply because day after day, I was less motivated to do what I do. And day after day, it would just tail into poorer results, poorer income, and more doubt and more self, kind of negative talk. And, one day it was just kind of like my wife actually said to me, and she's a former and fellow originator and a trainer. And she said, you got to get your head out of your ass. I'm going to talk to Mr. Doran.
you got to love getting the proverbial boot in your butt from the Wi-Fi, hey? She knows how to just tell it real.
Exactly. The boss brought the hammer down and said, you need to get your and again, getting into the coaching program. And again, I'm very thankful, very grateful that I was able to kind of rediscover who I was, because on a daily basis, I was, out there, a warrior, just going at it, and that's what made me good at what I did. I loved to do what I do. I loved to hunt. I loved to kill. It was just what I did. And then, like I said, getting back into the coaching, really, it was just changing the mindset, just kind of saying, okay, what kind of took me here and what's going to tunnel me out is really, starting over with, on a daily basis, getting up with a plan, working the plan, and really kind of taking action. And the funny thing is, and I have to be honest, I haven't even taken enough action yet. I mean, I'm
you're just scratching the surface.
Just scratching the surface. And so with I don't want to say little action because that's unfair, but with not as much as I have in me, I was able to go from 1 or 2 loans a month to, at this point easily, 6 or 8. And, that's taken my income, triple what it was last year. And again, that's just scratching the surface, because massive action is the next step. It is, on a daily basis, what I've done is I've been able to drag myself out of despair to get to the point where it's like, okay, I can do this. Every day I get up, I do my, my workouts, my visualizations, my affirmations. I kind of say, okay, today's a good day to be me. Today's a good day to go on a hunt. Today's a good day to help people. And just transforming the mindset has really taken me a step forward into action. And I know that there's so much more action that I can take. There's so many more things I can do. And so, like I said, I'm just right now scratching the surface of what's the potential is.
Well, that's remarkable. That's a remarkable transformation, Mark. You had this warrior spirit before. You're in the military before, so you know what it means to be in the fight, to be in the front lines, to man up, to feel the resistance, the challenge, and to learn to love the challenge and eat challenges for breakfast. I mean, any warrior who has any ounce of grit, and you don't make it in the military unless you got serious, badass grit, starts to have a love affair with challenge. They start to love the challenge. And even though they're literally in the front lines, in this case with bullets flying in many cases, they learn to enjoy the fact that they have a mission that's meaningful, that's important, and they don't shrink back in fear. They don't shrink back in the face of challenges. They say, screw it, let's do it. And that's what the adventure is. That's what really lights a lot of war. And we're not just speaking to the dudes here listening. We're also talking to the warrioresses who have a meaningful mission. And just like pregnancy, it's hard, Sometimes you feel like you got to vomit. Maybe in many cases, you're feeling like you need to vomit every day, and you're stretching and your joints hurt, and it's 9 months of hell, but you're giving forth life. So whether you're a lady or a dude listening, there's part of stepping up and embracing the challenge that really allows us to enjoy the adventure of life in the face of resistance, trials, tribulations, and challenges. And so you were in that, and you were building momentum, and then all of a sudden you started to slide down the mountain. Tell us about what happened such that you started to drift? Because you'd think if you were really slaying it and crushing it and things were happening, that you just keep an upward trajectory. But obviously something happened. There was a pivot that happened. Maybe it was just an inconspicuous shift in the way you were thinking and how you were approaching life. But illuminate for us, Mark, what you think happened that had you start sliding down the mountain.
I think for me, it was listening to the negativity around me. In other words, this industry, pick it at any time, it has its challenges. Mm-hmm. But I think there was a period of time, when we came out of the subprime, when we came down out of the meltdown, everybody was kind of stuck on the way it used to be, not the way it is, and trying to hold on to, especially the old dogs, especially the people who were in it 15, 20, 25 years, they were holding on to something that was gone, right? And so now, I think it was easy to say, and the changes were so rapid fire that you start to say, well, this is, for younger people, this is for more tech savvy people, so in your head, you're kind of convincing yourself that one day there will be an exit plan, or one day you'll get out of this. But day in, day out, you just keep doing it, but you're not doing it with the same fire, the same hunger, and the same concentration. And I think for me, again, I was also surrounding myself with a bunch of people that kind of were doing the same thing. My realtors were kind of, the market this, the market that. Everybody had an excuse, and together as a collective, we all kind of forgot that on a daily basis we get out what we get in, what we give in, what we put in.
Mm-hmm. So we focus on.
And we get what we focus on. So if I'm focusing on the death of the business, the death of the industry, the death of the salesman, guess what? There I was, ready to put that gun, boom,
right.
But not, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. But it was bad to the point of, and I talked myself there. I really, every day it was kind of like, oh, here's another day, another challenge. And I wasn't focused on the cure. I wasn't focused on what action I needed to take to rectify the situation. It was more just self-doubt and negative self-talk.
Right.
And everybody around me, the co-workers and the realtor partners and everybody was doomsdaying, and it made it simple to kind of die with the crowd, which was never my style, but it became who I was. And again, one day, you're wallowing in it. That's what I was. I was wallowing in it. Mm-hmm. And basically said, hey, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. You're going to get your ass in gear or do something else, but you are not going to, again, I always said it, you're not going to be a shell of your once former brilliance. You're going to get your ass in gear. And that's really, she was the motivation behind getting into the training program, getting into the coaching program. And she said, you've been a trainer, you've been, a manager, you've been somebody who motivates others, and yet you're the dumbass who's kind of beating yourself down. So you need to get your head out of your butt and get out there and get after it. And I'm very grateful to her for introducing me to you, because that's been the difference. And the difference is really, in your platform, module 1, go back to it. It is get your head right, because everything else good will follow. And so now that my focus is right, yesterday is a great example. I woke up yesterday and said, I don't know where and I don't know how, but I need another loan today, right? I need one. We ended up with 2, right? Nice. And it's just, that's almost saying to the universe, hey, baby, I need something. And it's saying, all right, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, we're gonna give that to you. So again, very thankful, but I'm still also in mindset. We lost a customer yesterday over rate. In the old days, that one would hurt. Look, it's never thrilling to lose a deal, but at the same time, I'll go get another. And that's the way I used to think. I used to think, just line them up. You know what I mean? And so, again, I'm not to the point where it's like, it doesn't hurt when someone says, hey, I found a better deal, or, somebody's cuter than you, Mark, or, whatever. Right? Bottom line is, hey, life in Hollywood, I'm going to go get another one. So,
absolutely.
But that's a mindset. And that's who I always was. I, again, fell down into that valley through negative, doubting, self-talk, surrounding myself with people who were also in the same peril, who were also doing the same thing. And, again, break free of the negativity, break free of the people holding you back and kind of saying, oh, you can't do it, because you can do anything you want. You seriously put your mind to it and say, this is what I want. These are the steps I need to take, and just get after it on a daily basis. And so getting up in the morning, getting after it early is half the battle. And again, military background, we did more by 8 o'clock than anybody else. That used to be the commercial, right?
Right.
So trying to find that same spirit, I didn't have it for a couple of years, and that was the destruction of, my income, my happiness. And so today, hey, it's all coming. It's here and it's coming, and there's more in front of it. And I'm happier than I was, 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago. I'm happier than I was. I think my family's happier than we were. And we're ready to trudge on and kick some ass. That's what we're ready to do.
Absolutely. Kick ass, take names, chew bubble gum. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yes, sir.
Love it.
Sir.
So what this really speaks to, and what it's a great reminder of, Mark, and for everyone else listening, is the power of association. Because if you really dial in and listen to the crux of what began the slump and what ended the slump, it was the power of association. It was the beginning of the slump where his, realtors and his colleagues in the office were whining, sniveling, complaining about the market, being victims of outside circumstances, and telling a story that had them be at the effect of outside circumstance, not being the cause, but being the effect. Rates are up, markets down, credit crunch, blah, 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 inventory's low. You get the idea. And even to this day, I'm hearing this almost every single day, every single week. Inventory's low, inventory's low. And people are making a story that that's the reason why their income's down. And as long as we tell ourselves that story, what are we going to create more of? More of the same. We become a victim of our own story. And so you were buying into it because that's what everyone was saying. It's peer pressure, right? The power of association.
The problem is I started saying it, and that's the downfall. I don't have to listen to those.
Well, exactly. You can either be a light in the darkness and shed the light of leadership and insight and revelation and be a cause for breakthrough results in your friends and family and colleagues and coworkers, or you can drift and be a follower and follow their bullshit stories and their bullshit excuses and be at the effect and just join the club as a victim. Because misery, you probably notice, misery loves company. That's where the word commiserating comes from. We commiserate. We love to have company so we can feel like I'm not the only one who's a sorry ass loser. I need some other sorry ass losers so we can feel like, hey, we're in it together. We're justified because the market's kicking our ass and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
Right? But all that gets us is more crap results and feeling like crap. And like you said, it gives you a reason and excuse for your life going down the toilet. But at the end of the day, there's no hope in it because you're not at cause. You're at the effect. You're a victim of outside circumstance that you can't change. And you used a word earlier, despair. That's a terrible, terrible place to be, a terrible place to live. Despair. Absolutely. That's a very dark place without hope, without positive expectation. You're just kind of existing in life. You're just dragging your ass through life. You're not actually living life. You're existing. And that's no place to be. But notice the outside circumstances, the market didn't change. There wasn't any change in the market that had you go from 1 or 2 deals a month to 6, 7, 8 deals a month within 3 months. Was there?
No, 100%.
Absolutely zero difference in outside circumstances.
Agreed.
What was the catalyst? Was it without or was it within? We all know, listening to Mark's story, the catalyst was within. It wasn't changing what's without. It was what he changed within. When you change the root, you change the fruit. When you change the invisible, you change the visible. And this is just a remarkable reminder and example, the power we have to be at the cause of breakthrough, unprecedented results in the face of uncongenial circumstances, in the face of low inventory, in the face of rising rates, in the face of the fact that all of these refi crabs are all crawling out of from under their proverbial rocks and clamoring to capture more realtor business. Now you've got even more intense competition. In the face of all that, you can still double, triple, quadruple your income if you have the proper perspective. So let's talk and then notice what caused him to get off his ass, to get his head out his ass and actually start to have that proper perspective, have this newfound positive association that catalyzed and stirred up the warrior within. What was the difference that made the difference? What was the leverage point? It was his wife saying, get off your ass, Mark. I love you, but I'm not going to let you just, sit there with your tail between your legs, with your thumb in your mouth and feel sorry for yourself. I know who you are. I know you're a winner. We got to do something. And it was literally his wife that had to have him see that this has got to change. Sometimes we need to speak into other people's lives when we see people going down that downward spiral. And sometimes we need people in our life, our friends, our family, our spouse, and give them permission. Give them permission to say, if you see something in me that is counterproductive, that is corroding my character, that is undermining my leadership, that is leading our family astray, that's leading myself astray, I want you to tell me, speak into my life, and be ready to receive. A lot of times pride stops us from our breakthrough. You could have said, no, I'm fine, honey, I'm fine. You could have resisted the help. You could have resisted the kick in the ass, but you were humble enough to receive it.
Well, it took a while of that downhill slope to really be open to saying, you know what, she's right. But again, she being at that point the only one to believe me, because I had given
your
up.
Your audio's cracking up. I don't know what happened to your mic, but
I was saying that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's all crackly though. Maybe do you have an external mic or is it an internal?
No, it's internal.
Strange. Okay, it's all crackly for some reason.
How about now? Any better?
Still crackly. We may need to try in your video screen there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little right on your video frame. There's a little green or a little blue, turquoise blue toggle in the top left corner of your video. Where you see yourself in video.
Oh yeah, okay.
You may need to just disconnect and reconnect, and that might fix the problem. So reconnect your camera and your audio, and then reconnect. Disconnect and reconnect. See if that fixes it.
I will give that a shot, and if I cut off for any reason,
yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it for you in the meantime.
I'll take it from there in the event that happens. Okay.
Yeah. And if need be, you can just actually reboot the page for the Be Live. That might fix it too, if the first one doesn't work.
Okay.
All right. So guys, I just want to illuminate a few more points while we get Mark's audio hopefully sorted out. Nothing like a little live techno glitch. Talk about dancing in the midst of turbulence, keeping us on our toes. So if you guys notice that you're in a slump, maybe you've been in a rut of stagnation for a couple years or beyond. Maybe you've been even regressing, where you've been sliding down a mountain. The key is to notice the story you've been telling yourself, justifying why you're where you are. And notice, is it taking ownership of it? Are you leading? Are you driving? Are you being resourceful and being at the cause of breakthrough, or are you just drifting and compromising and neglecting and justifying and rationalizing? Are you playing the victim or are you playing the victor? Are you leading, or are you just limping along and allowing outside circumstances to tow you around by the proverbial nose? Just check in on that, because I promise you, the story determines whether you suffer or whether you rise up and soar. It's all based on your story. What story are you telling yourself that either is supporting you to suffer or supporting you to soar? You're the cause, my friends. The good news, the bad news is you're the cause. The good news is you're the cause. It's the same coin, and it's just two sides of the same coin. You are the cause either way. How do we make out with your audio, Mark?
You tell me. How do I sound?
Oh, so much better, brother. It worked.
So much better.
So
yeah, I think realizing that I was the cause of both the downward and the upward. And again, it should be so self-evident. It should be so easy for me to see, or should have been. And for some reason, like I said, that negative talk took me places I shouldn't have been. And this positive talk and this rejuvenation will take me places I belong. But it is on me.
Absolutely. And you find out how much someone really cares for you when they tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And so I just want to give a salute to your wife for loving you enough and caring for you enough to tell you what you needed to hear, not what you wanted to hear, to get you to step up and stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, and her, because it was a teamwork kind of scenario where you mutually invested in your breakthrough. And that was a stretch, was it not?
It was a stretch, but it was something that needed to be done. It was something I was open to. And again, I learned I had to be coachable. I had to be, available, accountable. And like I said, I haven't even touched the surface of this. I am ready to roll. I am ready, on a daily basis to kick some ass. I just have. And I'm very thankful, and I'm excited by where I'm going.
Well, if you think about it, if you've gone from 1 to 2 deals a month in stagnation, regression, and despair to 5, 6, 7, 8 deals a month in a matter of 3 months, starting basically from a standing start in total stagnation.
Yes.
And mostly that was due primarily, based on your own admission, to just changing your mindset, changing your perspective, changing how you're showing up on a day-to-day basis, showing up with gratitude, positive expectation, feeding the fire of faith, feeding the fire of the warrior within, and just going out there and attacking life with positive expectation, with resourcefulness, with a sense of energy that you have what it takes. You're emanating positive energy with gratitude, thanksgiving, positive expectation. You're ready to kick ass, take names, chew bubblegum, because you're owning your power. That's really the only difference. And now you're starting to take more action. So tell us about the action that you've been taking with this newfound sense of your warrior spirit, owning your warrior spirit and really owning your power. What new, aside from, of course, the action you're taking to double down on your mindset and condition that winner's mindset, now that you're starting the day with a bang, powerfully,
yes,
what is the actions that have been flowing out of that positive energetic momentum that you feel have been precipitating such phenomenal results in such a short period of time? Give me like the top 3 vital few activities that you've been doing that have been churning up and stirring up more business into your pipeline.
Naturally, just making more calls,
right?
Scheduling time to talk to more people, reaching out to past customers, reaching out to family and friends, kind of rekindling relationships, sharing what I've learned on attitude, sharing what I've learned on starting the day right. I've been really taking the change in me and trying to say, hey guys, you can do this too, to some of my agent partners, some of my newfound partners. And it's just sharing knowledge designed to help them become better partners for me and better people for themselves. So they're making more money, they're happy, their family's more happy, and we're doing it together. It's kind of my strategic partners. I'm trying to share with them what you have, brought to light, which is we can all do this. We can do this together. And we can all have fun, and we can all kick ass, and have some fun. So,
absolutely.
Just making more calls, being more available, dealing with the negative stuff when it comes up, and not kind of pushing it off. Having the energy just to fight, having the energy to fight every day. The energy to actually, enjoy sparring with people, in good ways. It's like I said, just having the energy and the focus on build more relationships, have more fun, get more loans. It's just, that the loans are a result of the relationships. They're a result of, being in contact with people. And the more calls you make, the more people you connect with, the happier you feel. And the more, like I said, I probably just wasn't in the right mindset. When I met with people, there wasn't that energy. There wasn't that positive enthusiasm. There wasn't that this will go somewhere good. It was kind of like, oh, here we go again. This is just going to turn into nothing. So why pursue? Does that make sense?
It was a get to. It was a have to instead of a get to. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, and I think now, I realize there's certain things I must do every day. There's certain things I must do every week. There's certain things I must do. These are not optional, and you just, you got to make so many calls. You got to see so many people, and you've got to, you just have to be available, and you have to be accountable. And I think that I'm getting better at that. This is progress, huge progress. It is not perfection. I still have, some days where shit gets out of control real fast, and it's all of a sudden it's not the day that I planned. And while I'm trying to drive, I'm also getting, there's a little road rage on each side. You know what I mean? Get knocked around, but I'm much better at dealing with it. I'm much better at handling it. And so to me, everything's getting better, and my numbers are going to double in the next 90 days. In other words, that's the next step. Is I need to just keep pushing harder, because the market is what it is. There are plenty of people out there buying, selling, refinancing. It's out there. It's just a matter of going to find it, and being active and being in front of people is the easiest way to run into things. So happy.
Well, it reminds me of the quintessential success teaching that you hear from success gurus worldwide, and they all say it in a different way, but it's all the same premise. Be, do, have. Before you can have breakthrough results, before you can have a $500,000, $1 million, or multi-million-dollar business, before you can have the exquisite lifestyle, the amazing income and freedom that you desire for yourself and your family, you got to do certain things, right? You got to make the calls. You got to cultivate the relationships. You got to be consistent. You got to be diligent. You got to be determined. But in order to do that, obviously, in order to do all these activities, making calls and cultivating those relationships and taking all this action, there's a beingness that must undergird that. I think that's something that often people, they hear about the be, do, have, but they don't quite know how to source it in their life. They know they need to be a certain way to take certain actions, but they don't quite know how to source it, how to get at the cause of it. Kind of similar to, they know that, they're 30 pounds overweight and they need to get to the gym and eat better, but they don't quite know how to source it and cultivate it as a habit, as a way of being, as a way of life. And so we know all these things we need to do: to call clients, to call realtors, to engage, to make connections, to cultivate relationships. We know all this stuff. There's nothing new here, right? There's nothing new here. All this is just the same old boring stuff. What's the difference that makes the difference, that creates the breakthrough? It's not knowing anything more. It's not knowing what to do. We already know how to get fit. It's called get off the Twinkies, get off the burgers and the French fries and the bonbons, and get in the gym and sweat. I mean, Let's be real. That's all it takes. It's not rocket science. Same thing with creating breakthrough results in a business. It ain't rocket science. It's called making outbound calls to clients. having a unique value to realtors and actually being engaged on a daily basis to cultivate those relationships and adding value. There's nothing really that fancy about any of this stuff. We're not talking backflips here. And yet so few of us do it. Why? Because we don't focus on what actually fuels the fire of desire that gets us to do it long term. We might do it for a day. We might be a one and done, a one hit wonder. We might do it once in a while when all the stars align, when we get around to it, when we feel like it, when we're in the mood, but it's not consistent. So I want everyone to listen to Mark's story and notice how he's sourcing the fire of desire every day to rise up and be ready to really charge into the day with purposeful intention, with positive expectation, with a expectation of success because he feels like a winner. He owns his winner identity. He cultivates his winner identity, and he knows winners always find a way to win. But notice that doesn't happen by happenstance. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. And I'd be remiss not to point out what Mark is doing to condition that. He's not doing it once in a while. He's not doing it what he feels like. He's conditioning it every day. It's the classic Benny Franklin line: early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that military is all about that. Early to bed or early to rise. Get a jump start on the day. While the enemy's sleeping, we are creeping. That's just the only way to victory, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about, for people listening, Mark, who might be in a slump right now. They might be where you were half a year ago, feeling frustrated, feeling defeated, feeling like they're running on fumes and they're on the verge of burnout. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being in the same old place. Perhaps they feel like they have a proverbial glass ceiling over their head and they just keep bonking their head against it and they're feeling stuck. What would you say to someone like that going through what you've gone through over the last 6 months to really catalyze them into next level results like you've been able to do in your own life?
This industry, it's easy if somebody's out there that's kind of frustrated with it, that's tired of the same old. You're not going to get better at results until you kind of change the way that you're thinking. And we've all taken positive thinking. We've all taken classes and trainings on how to change our mindset. But I'm dead serious on, if you follow Doran's instructions and you basically say, I've got to find what's holding me back within, because it's us. You talked about cause and effect. Everything that I did, I had the power to do a year ago. I had the power to do 3 years ago. But for some reason, it wasn't my focus. It fell out of focus is what happened. And so now gaining it back into focus, and it's not just, hey, read a book, watch a tape. It's every day learn something new. Every day put it into practice. Every day share it with somebody. And your results they'll come. And some of them can turn around a lot faster than I did. And I know that like I said, I've made incredible progress, not perfection. And I am ready to really step it up more, because again, I had been very frank and honest on, I've taken action and that action has turned into good results. I would say they're very good results, but I have more to do. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody's sitting out there kind of struggling, look, if we do the same old, and we talk to ourselves the same way that we did, in a slump or, in the valley, in order to get out of it, in order to climb out of it, you really have to say, I'm going to change what I do every day. I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to change who I surround myself with, what I say to myself, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to kick some ass, because if it's in you, it's in you. If you were once spectacular before, you're spectacular. You're just, your mindset is not taking you where you need to go. And it's incredibly powerful. Like I said, I used to be a paratrooper. I'm not this week. I don't even play one on TV anymore. But, again, we'd get up early and we'd go at it, and I could run all day. I could live it, for a very long time. I'm now operating on less sleep. I'm not early to bed. I'm early to rise, and I'm early after it. I'm reasonably early to bed, but not super early. And I'm able to make do on like back in the day when I was young, because I'm not anymore. I can make do on 5-6 hours sleep. I'm back to 6 or 7. I'm good, but I have more energy with less sleep than I did. I was tired. So you'll wake yourself up if you follow Doran's instructions on getting your head right, and the results will.
I want to salute you, my man, for what you have done over the last 3 months to really grab the bull by the horns, let go of the wimp self within you, and grab a hold of the warrior self within you. To say, if it is to be, it's up to me. To be willing to take 100% ownership of your life, extreme ownership, and to win for yourself first and foremost, and to win for your family, and to be a light in a dark world. And you're sharing that light everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you're lighting people's and igniting people's sense of what's possible. You're inspiring people to look within themselves and realize the spark you have, the fire you have, they have that too. And you're bringing that light of fun and positive expectation and love for the adventure of life, and seizing the moment, maximizing the moment, and really letting your own natural inborn gifts and talents just blossom and open up to the world, because you're not holding yourself back anymore. You're just being you, and you're bringing your best you to the table. You're becoming the best version of yourself. And when you do that, you're giving other people permission to do that. Sure. And that's why realtors want to hang with you. That's why clients are attracted to you, because you're transmitting infectious, contagious, positive energy that people want to be around. People want to be in your energy orbit. And whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you're becoming a difference maker. You're leaving a wake of blessing and service and contribution and impact because of how you're showing up in the world. So I'm just really, really excited and super stoked to be part of that with you. I'm really excited also about how that's currently impacting and will impact your legacy as a leader, your legacy as a father, your legacy as a husband. So super, super proud of you. And thank you for sharing your story and your journey with us, man. I know if there's just one person who hears your story from this recording, whether live or recorded, that gets reignited and excited and decides to really take extreme ownership and get out of their slump and start kicking ass at the level they know they're capable of, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm very grateful to what you've done, and I appreciate it.
Well, it's the best way for me to be reciprocated in what I give to my clients is to have them kick ass and to have them soar and have them create an extraordinary life. So I'm exceedingly grateful for the privilege, the honor, and the pleasure of being able to see you not just create breakthrough results, but become the man that you're called to be. And we're just scratching the surface of the surface. Like we said before, you ain't done. We've just begun, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So sorry, go ahead.
That's it. Just having fun.
Absolutely. And that's the coolest thing about it. It's not about achieving to be happy. It's happily achieving. And that's the coolest thing about how you're showing up now, Mark, is you're not achieving to be happy anymore. You're happily achieving. You got a smile on your face. You got a sparkle in your eye. You got pep in your step. And that's why you're kicking ass. And that's why you're going to continue to kick ass in spite of challenges, in spite of setbacks and so-called disappointments. You're going to obliterate them. You're going to go over them, through them, around them. You're going to melt them. You're going to be like a hot knife through frickin' butter, because that's how you roll.
Yes, sir.
Right? So that is the winner's way, because winners always find a way to win. So if you guys listening right now would like to reignite your own inner warrior or your inner warrior-ess, you want to become the best version of yourself, and you feel like you're hitting up against a glass ceiling, perhaps you feel like you're trudging through mud with concrete blocks on your feet, with wind in your face and things aren't working and you're sick and tired of it being the same old, you need to reach out to us because we can help. Obviously, Mark is not just an anomaly. This happens time and time again. This is normal. In Planet Doran, this is normal. This is not a very rare thing. This is a normal occurrence. It happens time and time again because it's all about principles. When you start to show up in a different way, you get different results. When you start to build in champion level routines, you get champion level results. That's just how it works. There's nothing fancy or exotic about it. It's just simple stuff that works. And so if you're tired of driving blind and hoping, wishing, and praying for it to work instead of having a proven, dialed in success system and having the support to keep you on track to make it happen, you guys need to reach out to us. You can claim a complimentary breakthrough coaching session by going to mortgagemarketingcoach.com/apply. That's mortgagemarketingcoach.com/apply, just the way you see it on the screen there. And we will get on the phone either with myself or one of my consultants and get you clarity like you've never had before on where you're at now, because you can't change your reality until you face your reality. So we need to get you clarity on where you are now, first and foremost, and then where you want to be. Most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. So we're going to get you clarity like never before on where you want to be. Not you serving the business, but the business serving you. What does divine perfection look like for you and your family when you got your business the way you want it? And lastly, how to get you to that outcome. Shortest path to the cash, lowest hanging fruit. So if you're sick and tired of limping along, dinking around, doing it the hard way, and you want to learn how to do it the smart way, reach out to us. mortgagemarketingcoach.com/apply. Obviously, it's first come, first serve based on time available in the calendar. So check it out and see what's available. Get on the calendar. Let's connect and let's see if we can be the catalyst for your breakthrough, just like we were for Mark. All right, guys. So thanks for hanging up with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And again, don't envy us. Join us. Don't wish. No. Don't hope. Don't smoke the hope dope in Hope Prison. That's a great place to be if you're in prison. Hope is a great thing to have when you're in prison, but it's not a very good marketing plan. I don't recommend hope for your marketing plan. So stop hoping and start knowing and lock in on a proven, battle-tested success formula. And if that's what you're looking for, you need to reach out to us because that's precisely what we bring to the table. All right, guys. Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And keep being awesome, brother.
Will do.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.